What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, as we speak towards the end of the year, filming on Avengers 5 is not that far away. In fact, when Thunderbolts hits theaters next year is about when they'll be starting, if they haven't already, on that production. Now, this past weekend for New York Comic-Con, the Russo sat down for an interview in which they were asked candidly a ton of questions about Avengers 5, and they actually answered straightforward for most of them, well, the ones that they could answer. We're going to break down exactly what they said, how they explained that their plan for this one was the same but a little bit different, the differences between, say, Infinity War and Endgame, and then Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, and how they're going to manage the enormous cast of characters. Like I said, they answered all of these questions pretty straightforward, and we actually learned a ton of official details where we really haven't had any outside of Robert Downey Jr.'s return. We're breaking it all down, the Russo's latest interview about Avengers Doomsday, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, that's all we do, so if you're into that kind of thing, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below, and that automatically enters you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. The next one is next week for the finale of Agatha All Along. Okay, so again, this is the Russo's most recent interview from this past weekend with Collider at New York Comic-Con, specifically on Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. The first thing they asked is where they were in the writing process on the films, to which they replied they're right in the middle of the writing process right now. They also confirmed that it's simply Stephen McFeely, not Marcus and McFeely, who penned the original Avengers films with them, that would be working on the script. They also asked if they were involved in the writing, to which Anthony Russo said, yes, we are always working closely with Marcus and McFeely through all the work that we've done together. Joe Russo added that they're both partners at Agbo, their production company, with us, and that they're tight collaborators, all of us. Okay, so the first three confirmations out of the gate: that they haven't finished the script yet for Avengers 5, they're in the middle of the writing process now, that it'll only be Stephen McFeely this time that's writing on the script, but that the two Russos are also involved with writing the story. The next thing Collider asked was, quote, with Infinity War and Endgame, you guys shot them together. Will you be doing that with these two upcoming Avengers films, or do you think that that can't work? Joe Russo answered, it'll be similar, but we'll have a larger break in between the two movies than we did with Infinity War and Endgame. I think it was 4 weeks between those. Was it 4 weeks between Infinity War and Endgame? Anthony Russo answered, I think it was a couple of weeks, but no, these are not as separated as you would normally separate two films of this scale, but they're more substantially separated by a year or so. He's not talking about the timelines in the film, he's talking about how they're going to fill them, basically filming Avengers 5 in 2025, then taking the next year to write the script for Avengers Secret Wars, finish it, and shoot Avengers Secret Wars in 2026. Normally, these two movies wouldn't be shot anywhere near each other at a normal studio, but Marvel Studios isn't one. He was definitely referring to the timeline outside of the films. I already know when this gets re-reported on social media, everyone's going to get this wrong. They were then asked exactly when they start shooting and whether it'll be in Atlanta or London, and they sort of joked around and then dodged those questions and said it would be best if they didn't answer them. They also asked if they would shoot these movies in the IMAX format, which seems a little bit redundant because I feel like most of the Marvel movies have been shot for IMAX, to which they confirmed they would. Collider then asked this, quote, I don't think a lot of people realize that there are months before filming begins when all of these decisions are being made. So you guys obviously are writing the scripts, and Kevin Feige has talked about how these movies are going to have so many characters. What is it like in the writer's room trying to figure out what actors we need versus what Marvel might want versus what the story might call for? What is it like behind the scenes? And this is what Joe Russo said. It's a little bit like getting back on a bike. It's a process that we did so intensely for a decade, and that we have a really codified process that we all work together through. Anthony, I, Steve, we all collaborate with. And we collaborate with Kevin and the folks at Marvel. It's very complicated to iron out a story of this scale. The ambition is similar to Infinity War and Endgame. These are going to be very, very big movies with a lot of characters in them and a lot of storylines coalescing. But we're very excited about the stories. That's why we came back, because we felt like we had a really strong idea for what these movies should be, and we're really happy with how they're coming together now. Anthony Russo added this, I would just say, you hear it in your question. There's a lot going on, but we always work our way through the process, and this is what we've done in our entire road through our careers and our time at Marvel, etc., is just default to what moves us the most, what excites us the most, what is the most powerful version of storytelling we can do here. That's how we clear up all the other issues in the room. And two quick things before we go on. Number one, if you're a Marvel fan, I don't know how you absolutely can't rejoice when you hear something like this. It just confirms these are the absolute two right guys to be doing this movie. They put the story first, the characters are second. They'll use whoever they need. That's how you get a character like Nebula having a huge role in Avengers Endgame, or say the opposite of that, when Marvel Studios wanted to shove Captain Marvel down everybody's throat and work her into Infinity War, and the Russos were simply like, no, that doesn't work. And in fact, for Endgame, she's going to be gone most of the time. So they definitely have their bearings, and again, this process that they work through. And if they're going to take what they did with Infinity War and Endgame and apply that process to Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, the movies, the fans, everybody is going to be better for it. Now, this next question by the interviewer I really liked. He said, quote, "I think I speak for a lot of the fans that we're all very excited you guys are coming back to helm these movies, but I'm also curious. You hit such home runs with Infinity War and Endgame. Was there any hesitation, like an honest conversation about, do we even want to come back and try it again? Or was it, we have the skill set, let's go and do it again?" Anthony Russo said this, "Look, on some level, those movies can seem intimidating because they were such successes. But what motivated us to come back is, we're not chasing that. What we're chasing is the idea that we felt there was more powerful storytelling to be done. That's what motivated us, when we tuned into a story that we felt had to be told and that we wanted to tell. And that would be an incredible thrill, not just for us, but for the audiences. That's what we're focused on. We really can't control what ends up happening to a movie after you make it. All we can do is put in our best effort into making it." Then Joe Russo chimed in, "There's no better experience as a filmmaker than galvanizing audiences around the world and getting them excited about a really ambitious story. It certainly was a highlight of our careers, was sitting down in audiences watching Infinity War and Endgame with those audiences. It was electric and it felt like a rock concert. Stories are one of the last things that we have that bind people together still. It doesn't matter where you're from or your political persuasion is, everyone comes together for stories of this scale. To have the opportunity to try and do that again and have the opportunity to try and get people excited about a story that they can all get behind and share together was really attractive to us because we knew we had the potential to be another really special experience." Then this last question evoked a joke out of Joe Russo. The interviewer asked, "You cast very instrumental characters in your Marvel movies," referring to stuff like Civil War and Spider-Man. "With these Avengers films, I am very confident that you'll be introducing characters to the MCU that perhaps we haven't seen yet. So what is that like for you two to have that opportunity again?" And Joe Russo laughingly said, "Great Lakes Avengers." He definitely was joking. Do not expect that iteration of the team, but basically just poking fun at the question itself. Of course, there's going to be new huge characters in these two movies. I expect them 100% to introduce the Beyonder, other huge characters, and that's got to be exciting for them. And as this interviewer pointed out, especially since they'll be part of casting these characters, and this is what the two of them said. Joe Russo said that's the exciting part of it. Anthony Russo said this, "Look, we all have such long time investment in these characters, whether you were fans of the characters before with the comics, or even if you came to them in the MCU. It's that time that we've all invested in these characters. It just makes the meaning and the resonance and the possibilities all that more powerful, intriguing, and thrilling. So yeah, when you have an emotional investment like this, it's a thrill of a lifetime." Alright, we're still giving away PlayStation 5s here at the channel, and the next one happens to be at the end of the month to coincide with Agatha All Along's finale. If you want to be entered to win or for any of the other future giveaways here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. You've got to be a subscriber, so hit the sub button, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos in the same way we're doing here, live with my voice in the winning comment when there is one shown on screen. So please be safe and vigilant on YouTube or really any other platform. Please remember, anybody can take a content creator's profile picture, claim to be them. It's all a ruse to get your information on a third-party app like Telegram or WhatsApp and charge you for shipping for a price that's not there. No content creator, myself included, will ever charge you for shipping, so please be safe again and vigilant on any platform. And if you should get a spam comment like that, just report it directly to YouTube. They are very fast about deleting that account, and then everywhere they've commented goes away as well. You're actually doing a huge service to the YouTube community, not just the one page or comment that they happen to try to snag you on. My name is Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes under the name AllFires. And while I'd sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around, guys. We'll be posting again real soon.